What is going on, everybody? It's a late. What is Wednesday, right? I get my days mixed.
It is
Wednesday.
Wednesday. It is
Okay.
Wednesday.
We usually say touchdown Tuesday, so we'll just say waiver wire Wednesday. Yeah, waiver wire. Actually, waiver wire Wednesday makes sense. So waiver. So thank you for tuning in to your waiver wire Wednesday now. I got my guy ready to build it with me, James Mallory, former NFL running back James Mallory. We like to call him the NFL pedigree around these parts. James, what's going on?
What's
Bills
going
come on.
on, man? I'm ready to talk that talk, JT. Whitney was good, man. Let's get it.
The Bills came off a big preseason comeback win. I know, some Bills fans, even though it's preseason, they live on the edge of their seats. It doesn't change much. They're in regular season form, I'll say. But tonight we have a pretty good show lined up for you. We're gonna talk about Isaiah Hodgins tonight and his role on this team. We're gonna talk about a Case Keenum's debut. I know a lot of Bills fans weren't too thrilled about our guy Case, so we're gonna go with a segment we like to call tonight. Is there a real case for concern on the Bills? We'll be talking about the roster in general and what we think the Bills could possibly do in this fight for those last couple of roster spots. So it's a good show, and we have bad takes for the first time this season coming back. So like I said, we got a pretty good show got a pretty good show lined up for you guys tonight. So thank you for tuning in. But let's get started, James. The Bills came off a big preseason win versus the Indianapolis Colts. If you want to say big, fine. It's big for a lot of people out there. And actually, I do want to get your opinion tonight on players playing these preseason games and if it is big for them wins like that. Where Kai Elam debuted, looked okay at times. Khalil Shakir looked very good. Jamison Crowder, and not so much. So we'll talk about trending up and trending down players. But what you see in that Colts game, man? Anything stand out to you?
What really stood out to me, man, was that them dudes was hungry. They was flying around. Starters didn't play, and they still competed. They played to that last snap, and I loved it, man. I mean, come back too. They were down. So for them to come back and fight and just show that grit,
Mm-hmm.
what more can you want? I mean, you want your core guys to have that with them. You know what I mean? Because if you got to go next man up, and one of those guys got to step in and play some meaningful snaps in the regular season, you want those type of hungry players out there. And them dudes, man, they got after it. I loved every minute of it. I loved it.
So when people say it doesn't matter, it's just preseason. Bull?
Foolish, foolishness.
Why? Why is it foolishness?
I mean, because whenever you win, you don't ever want to lose, right? It's never okay to lose. You want to win. You want to get that, especially with the young guys. You want to get that in their mind. You want to get them rolling. You just want to install into them. Like winning is
Fundamental.
yeah, it's like it's contagious. You know what I mean? You
Right.
don't even want to get the losing thing. Don't even make that a habit. I don't care if it's preseason or not. Let's win. And let's set the tone right for the season.
No, it makes sense. Like I said, I'm the type of guy I like to win everything. Like I said, if I play your child in Uno, I'm probably gonna try to beat him. Just saying. It is what it is. Um but no, I thought the Bills play. I got to see what I wanted to see. Obviously, I wanted to see. For me, I wanted to see a strong running game. I wanted to see a strong performance from Zach Moss. I wanted to see a quicker Zach Moss. I wanted to see a stronger Zach Moss, and I thought we saw that. I also wanted to see a more of a commitment to the running game because even in the preseason the last couple of years under Brian Dable, we were still slinging the ball around.
Yeah.
So I thought we saw more of a commitment and more of a power run game under Cromer and Ken Dorsey, and I hopefully that trickles over into the season. Now, obviously, there was no Josh Allen and no Stephon Diggs and most of the key player starters, but I thought Boogie Basham played well. I thought you saw flashes in the athleticism of Terrell Bernard to see why they drafted him when they did. So there's multiple questions we had answered. I thought you actually saw a pretty good Cody Ford as well in this game, which I still think Cody Ford, when we look at this lineup and this roster, I still think he may be one that's maybe traded possibly because our offensive lineman that's on his roster, he's probably the only one that has any trade value. So I don't see them cutting bait with him just to cut bait if they're going to do that. I know
Yeah.
you're a proponent of keeping Cody Ford because he has a starting experience.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one thing that you just can't take for granted is his starting experience at guard and at tackle. Um, if there's some type of crazy, let's knock on wood, nothing like that happens, but some type of crazy just string of injuries where you got a guy who has played meaningful snaps at guard and tackle. So I mean, you just can't take that for granted. I'm not as down on him as a lot of Bills fans. Has he underperformed as a second round pick? Yes, but he's not a bad football player. So those guys you don't want to just kick off your roster, just send them somewhere else. You want to load your team up with talent, and he's a talented guy. He's gonna have a 10-year NFL career, man. He's gonna play in this league for 10 years. So that's just my opinion on it. I like Cody Ford. Obviously he's a French starter. You can't say he's an all pro or none of that stuff. But in regards to being a quality depth piece, I think he's one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would like to see him pan out. I keep looking at teams like Houston or teams like Jacksonville, maybe a team like Detroit who's looking for offensive line help that I think the Bills probably could get a 5th-round pick for Cody Ford in a turnaround. And I think, too, for Cody at the same time, the main reason I want him traded is not for the Bills' sake, but honestly for his sake. I think it's time for a fresh start for him. You know what I mean? I think that's what I want for him as a fresh start. I think he's a starter in this league. I would never say he's not a starter. I do think he's a starter. And even the times he played last year, I thought he played pretty well. He definitely was better. But then again, I also question the Bills' development of putting him out there right tackle in an experimental position, which I think we all knew off the bat, like, hey, this guy's not quick enough to play that tackle position. But they did it anyway. So either way, neither here or there. We'll see what happens with that situation, how that develops, and what goes down these next couple of weeks as the Bills have to cut down on roster space. But no, I want to talk about Khalil Shakir actually to begin with. The kid actually had 5 catches, 92 yards. It's not a surprise to me. This is a guy who, when we drafted, we said this guy's going to make an immediate impact. We said it right here on the show multiple times. This is a 4-year player at Boise State, and to me, I put on my Twitter account that I thought he looked very polished. He looked like he had a very good feel for the NFL game already.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think for Bills fans, I like to do comparisons with former Bills players for fans because sometimes they don't know players from other teams. I thought he reminded me of Josh Reed as a rookie. Yep. Just having that really good feel for the league, the seams, and just a natural feel for the game. What did you see out of the rookie this game?
He looked very comfortable. You could tell he's the one that you got to hear. Forget physically, he has to hear. He played at a very veteran type of rate, like speed. Like his everything. He seemed very, very comfortable. I think he's going to be a quality player for us this year. He's going to give us some good minutes. He looked seasoned. He looked ready.
He did. And, I know we had a lot of questions about our third receiver, and obviously we haven't seen Isaiah McKenzie yet this year as he's a key player now, and obviously with the questions of Odell Beckham Jr. And obviously Jamison Crowder is probably going to end up on our trending down list. And I think we need to talk about Jamison Crowder's role on this team moving forward, just in general, even if he doesn't get that 3rd spot on the receiver corps, because I still think he remains here. This kid is going to take some reps and snaps from people. And that's why I was kind of wondering last week when we were talking before the game was, hey, is there a chance that Shakir can end up taking this roster spot from or taking the punt return spot from Tavon Austin or Isaiah McKenzie because they need to put him on the roster and get the ball in his hands? So either way, I thought he played well. It should be no surprise to Bills fans that he's going to play well, and he's probably going to play well early. If you go back and you look at everything he did at Boise State, it should be no surprise there. And honestly, when we talk about the receiver position as a whole, and you know about it because you have one of these 7-on-7 teams, the receiver position as a whole, you're finding receivers from any and everywhere now. And these guys who are in the past would have been 2nd, 3rd round picks possibly are getting pushed down to the 5th or 6th round because these receivers are so talented and so developed by the time they're getting to the league. And I think that's one of the conversations that we're not having of why you find a Gabe Davis in the 4th round, why you find a Khalil Shakir in the 5th round, and why they're so productive.
Yeah. And then, just now it's just throwing the ball a lot more. Because even going back to when I was in high school, it was a spread offenses like that. High school teams wasn't throwing the ball around like that. Now you go to these high school games, these dudes are throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game. So, there's more reps. So now you're going to get more quality. With the live reps, these receivers are obviously going to be more advanced with 7-on-7 football. Obviously throwing it in their high school seasons, go to college. Damn near everybody runs a spread offense, so there's a lot more receivers. So, that's a great thing. And then obviously in the NFL, the rules favor the offense. To be quite honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it doesn't kind of favor. It does. That's why you see so many records getting broken. Not only does the rules favor them, but then the extra game per season favors the offense as well for records and things and such like that. But before we move too far ahead, I do want to make an announcement here. I know you guys know every year that we throw the Mafia Homecoming Party here at Cold Front Report with Dan Gambino. And this year we did release the date. So the third annual Mafia Homecoming Party is going to be Friday, October 7th at Resurgence Brewing in Buffalo, New York. We will release the ticket information next Friday. And I mean, it's gonna be banging. It's gonna be a vibe. It's always a vibe every year we do it, and we will be releasing the special guest host soon after. So just stay tuned. All the details are gonna come. I know a lot of people are looking out for that. So October 7th, Resurgence Brewing is going down again. So if you've been to the first two ones, you know how it get down. It's fun. We'll see what surprises we have for you guys this year. Bigger venue, bigger event, big day.
Don't sleep on it. Be on it, man.
That's it. Don't sleep on it. I get that on a t-shirt. I like that. But moving on, I want to talk about one receiver from the receiving core that actually had a pretty good game, and that is our guy Isaiah Hodgins. Now Hodgins obviously has been on the Bills practice squad for 2 years now, and a lot of people have banged the table for him to get some playing time. Well, he did in his preseason game, and he performed actually very well. What did you think of Isaiah Hodgins' performance? And I guess we have to talk about, can he make this 53-man roster?
I really like what I've seen out of him. What he brings to the table, we don't really have. We don't have a lot of tall receivers on this roster. He brings height. I want to see more live game action. I've heard nothing but great things about him. The Bills kept him around for a reason. They had every avenue to let him go over the last couple of years. They developed him. They brought him around for a reason. They're not gonna let him go. In my opinion, he's almost a roster lock unless he just stinks to join up the next 3 games. To me, he's a roster lock. The Bills, if we look at their past, they don't develop players and just let them go. They developed him over the last 2 seasons. This is going to be his 3rd. They developed him to keep him, man. I know he was on IR first year, but they developed him to keep him. They're not going to develop him and let him go somewhere else. He'll be on the 53-man roster at the end of the day.
Okay, so I guess I have to ask this question, right? Because I know I put on my Twitter account the other day that there's no way you can stash him anymore. There's no way you could put him on the practice squad. It's not going to happen. He's going to be claimed immediately. So obviously, if you guys didn't watch the game, he had 9 catches for 77 yards off 11 targets. But the most interesting point to me was that our guy Mike Back put in our group chat. He played special teams. Eight snaps of special teams, which that showed me right there. The Bills are making a conscious effort to see if this kid can make this team. Mm-hmm. Now I went back and I did watch every single special team snap. One big return that the Colts had. He was the gunner on that side. So I'm still not sold on him making this team, and it's not because of anything that he's done personally, because I think he's going to have a fantastic preseason. I think the fact what's going to hurt him is the fact that he does not play special teams.
Yeah.
And that's not his niche, not natural niche. You know what I mean? That's why I think I give a guy like a Jake Kummerow the edge. Because obviously we know Jake Kummerow could play within an offense as a receiver, but we also know that he's close. He's a very, very good special teamer, where Hodges, in my opinion, is not. The only way I see Hodges making this team is the Bills say, hey, we're going to part ways with Jamison Crowder, which then also presents another problem to me.
Yeah.
Are you going to go into the season with your 3, 4, and 5 receivers being Isaiah McKenzie, Khalil Shakur, and Isaiah Hodgins? That's a huge question mark. A very big question mark. Even if you kept Tavon Austin as number 6, that's still a very big question mark. I don't know. I mean, what are your feelings on that, man?
So I'm gonna just go over my receivers. What I think right now is gonna make the roster. I think you're gonna go 7, right?
Okay.
Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis.
Mhm.
I think you're going McKenzie. I think you're going Crowder. Shakir, Isaiah Hodgins, Tavon Austin.
Mhm.
That's my seven.
Are you are you leaving Hodgins deactivated a lot of games probably?
No, I think actually Crowder will be the one.
Really? Why now?
Because I think Crowder and depending on the role, Crowder and McKenzie kind of a similar role. So, I mean, if you're going to give McKenzie a lot of snaps, Crowder will be the one deactivated, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So why would you have a guy active to give him 10 snaps, right? 15 snaps. He would be the one inactive. Tavon Austin, I think, will be a primary kick returner. Hodges, you just got to see what you got on special teams. I mean, eventually you just got to let him play and see what you got. You can't keep holding back. Like, let's see what you got. So that's my opinion on what I think the receivers want to be.
I guess I didn't think about that scenario there of deactivating Crowder because I'm thinking automatically who we gonna get rid of, who we gonna move off, and I guess I didn't think about the fact that hey, you could deactivate Crowder, and if Hodgins struggles early or something like that, then obviously at that point you would probably say okay, he's not ready for the NFL, and that you're gonna have to cut your losses at that point in time because someone's gonna claim him.
Yeah.
You're not, like I said, you're not going to stash him again. So Bills fans, if you think that Isaiah Hodgins can somehow make his way back to the practice squad, I don't think that's even an option. There's 31 other teams in this league, and there was 31 other GMs, including one up close last Saturday, saw him do what he did. So I don't know, man. It's this whole receiver room is really tight race. I mean, I think I'm with you. I think that's probably the tightest race out of all the camp battles.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Kumaro, you're talking about practice squad roster spot. We get 3 that we can stash, right?
I think you get 16 allocated roster spots. You get 16 allocated roster spots, and you get 10 have to be the traditional. I believe the traditional. Or 10 or 12 have to be the traditional. Yeah, no more than 3 years of service, and I think you get 4 veterans.
Yeah, I think Kumaro can be one of those guys.
Okay.
I don't see nobody claiming him off waivers. Mm-hmm. Maybe Green Bay because I know Aaron Rodgers loved him and they obviously choose at the wide receiver position. He's also a trade candidate. Would the Packers give up a 7th-round pick for him? Maybe. But I think that's one that you would try to sneak on the practice squad. I just don't think Hodges. And then let's see what Tavon Austin do. I think I'm one that from day one said Tavon Austin is going to make the roster. He practiced today. Let's see what he does return-wise. If you don't muff a punt. If you take one punt to the house, he's going to be he's a roster lock. During the preseason, he's a roster lock. Or if he has one big return, he's a roster lock.
Be booking that.
If he makes one big return and don't muff any, he's a roster lock.
Booking it. Okay. Like I said, I told you the other day, you kind of convinced me on this Tavon Austin thing because I didn't see it. I said camp body from the beginning, and you said you don't bring a guy like Tavon Austin in for a camp body. So like I said, right now you're winning this battle. Okay, it's almost like we play a Street Fighter, and if he has one big return, it's gonna be like finish him. That's gonna be Total Combat. That's gonna be it. You know what I mean? So no, I agree. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, these next 2 games are going to be really huge for the receiver position. It's going to be huge. Jamison Crowder has to have a lot better game this next game. But I also went back and looked at the film. Case Keenum missed him open 3 or 4 times as well. I said, if you guys watch it, please go to NFL Plus or NFL.com and watch the film. You'll see a couple of interceptions too. He missed Crowder wide open multiple times. So I'm pretty sure that Chad Hall and the receiver coaches and McDermott, they'll go look at that film too, Dorsey as well, and see that, hey, he was still open. But like you said, it's going to be interesting about Hodgins. Right now, I'm still on the side of saying no, he's not going to make this roster, and that come week 1, he'll be on another team's roster because you can't stash him.
Do they think about the Bills? They don't develop their players and let them go, JT. They don't do that. And then you're looking at a 29-year-old Kumaro or a 23, 24-year-old Hodges. You just don't.
I know. It's you got a point. You have a point. Like I said, I'm not. It's very hard for me to disagree with you at this point in time. But in my numbers game, I I just don't see it yet in my numbers game. I just it's something that's just holding me back with this one. And he's a good young kid. He's a good young man. Like I've said, I've been around Isaiah Hodgins multiple times. Very humble guy, hardworking kid. I just think that the numbers in this case work against him, and maybe it's my PTSD from Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane from the past of going with the veteran, like 11 out of 10 times. Maybe it's that, right? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, he puts up another performance like he did in the first preseason game. He's going to make that decision that much tougher. So we'll see. Let's see, get to some of you guys' comments here. Zevin Zinger says, I heard McKenzie, my ears raised, he said as well. Cody Wells said, if Khalil and Hodgins both keep playing this, how do you think they change the wide receiver corps going to the season? Do we raise the number of receivers that we carry on game today? So you're saying you've already answered that for yourself. You said you think they're going to raise it to 7 because most games last year the Bills carry 5.
Yeah, I think you got to go 7. I mean, what you got, I think you got to go 7. And then I'm thinking they carry the one less running back, so that's where at least one more.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking Tywan Jones may be the odd man out if they carry 6 or 7 receivers.
Yeah.
And because I don't know if you noticed, we were talking about Nick McLeod last week, possibly gunner. Nick McLeod was your other gunner this weekend.
Yep. We've been talking about that since way back when.
For a while now. So that may be where you lose that other position. And don't remember, Anthony Farrell told us last week, great tidbit point. If you carry 8 offensive linemen on a game day roster, you get 48 game day active roster spots. If you carry anything over 8, then you only get 46. So assume the Bills are also going to carry 48 linemen each game. Carry 8 linemen each game this season as well for that extra roster spot, because when you're this deep, you have to. Mike Boger says, talking about the receiver spot, this is a good problem to have. Remember when we were fighting to keep David Nelson and Duke Williams? This is true. We have come a long way, Mike. A very, very long way.
Yeah.
Our guy Cody Wells also says, Keenum, Barkley back a rookie. Interesting if these games keep going that way. Yeah, it can. I don't see Case, and I guess we'll roll right. That rolls us right into our next point with Case Keenum.
Yeah, that's not right. People too emotional. They wilding. I'm using that word. Y'all wilding. Like, dude, Case Keenum is going to be the backup. Case Keenum is one of the better backup quarterbacks in the National Football League. Matt Barkley is there. He's going to be one of the veterans on the practice squad. He knows that. When he signed the deal, he knew that. When he signed the deal, he knew he wasn't competing for the second job. Y'all tripping. Y'all see one game, he had Case Keenum had a tip ball, threw one bad pick. Chill out. Y'all bugging. Like, quit being so emotional. Just stop it. Just stop.
Well, you know what? The one thing about Case Keenum was, like I said, I said on Twitter the other day, maybe I'm in the minority because I'm not really worried about it. I looked at it and said, hey, if he don't throw those 2 picks, and he's probably 8-16, hell of a rough game. He wasn't exactly, as I call it, a Billy Joe Hobart, not knowing the playbook Bills game. But, listen, this is a guy who has 64 NFL starts, okay? He's almost about 500 in those starts. He's just under, but a couple of those teams he played on were really, really bad.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give
Barkley,
Case.
No, he's not better than Case Keenum, man. Come on,
Matt Barkley is almost out the NFL. Okay, like this is probably Matt Barkley's last stop. If Matt, and this is not a knock on Matt Barkley, because he has become a fan favorite since the Parker twirl. Okay, if he was a number 2 quarterback, he wouldn't have bounced around last year and he'd be on somebody's roster. We had to trade for Case Keenum.
Hello. Talk that talk. Talk that talk.
We had to trade for Case Keenum. Okay, so I just think that obviously Case wasn't even playing with our starters. So let's just be honest. We've seen Matt Barkley with our starters. We've seen him in that Jets game. That Jets had no film, and the Jets were just as bad as a football team as us, if not worse, and we beat them. But then when we saw him versus New England that game, when Josh Allen got knocked out with the concussion, that was not the same Matt Barkley that we saw in the Jets. He has extreme limitations. And don't get me wrong, he has way more limitations than Case Keenum has. So I think that we're overreacting there. But I do agree that if Keenum struggles again, I don't think you'll look at Matt Barkley at number 2 spot. I think they may be looking somewhere else for another backup quarterback possibly. You know, God forbid, we hope that neither one of these guys play this season. They were just unless it's taking a knee. Let's be honest. So,
or blowout.
Yeah, it'll blow a blow. We don't see either one of these guys playing. But actually, that brings us into our next thing. Obviously, we have not done this in a while, but because so many people were upset with Case Keenum, we are doing a preseason version of what we like to call a little something called Bad Takes. So, are you guys ready? This is Case Keenum, Bad Takes, preseason version. Let's do it. Bad take number 1. Case Keenum. Rookies look good. Send Case Keenum back to Cleveland. He is definitely not number 2 material. Send him back to Cleveland. Well, they possibly do need a quarterback right now, so that kind of makes a little sense. We're not going to get into that, though. Bad take number 2. Case Keenum preseason. Someone says, replace with Barkley and give Keenum a lawnmower.
Oh. Come on.
They said he need to mow the lawn, man. Come on, bro. Bad take number 3. This is now that is what I call a BBC Big Barkley comeback.
Oh my God.
What? Why do we do this? Now that's what I call a BBC, a Big Barkley comeback. Okay, well, I'm sure we will see that on a T-shirt after this. I do not want credit for that T-shirt, by the way. Right? Keep it to yourself. That's fine. And then final bad take of the night. Drum roll, please. Case Keenum preseason version. James Mallory.
Boom.
QB depth. Josh Barkley, entire defense, support staff, security, Lord, concession and guest services, ticket scalpers, random drunk fan, and then Case Keenum.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, bro. Come on, man. Why we do that, people? But that was your bad takes of preseason. There was so many of them out there. I really had to go through these things and literally choose, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like you guys crushed Case Keenum this week, and I don't know, the BBC thing, man. I don't know. That's just I don't even know what the hell you come up with that. I didn't know what the hell you come up with that, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed bad takes this week. But we probably got about, we ain't gonna go too long now. We probably got another 10, 15 minutes on the show. So start getting your questions out there, and I'll make sure we try to get to almost every single one. What's up, Ricky Graves? How you doing, brother? We want to do a segment called Who's Trending Up and Who's Trending Down. So, James, I'm going to come to you first. Give me one player you thought from week 1 preseason has trended down, and I'll come back with mine.
Trending down. That's a difficult one. I'm gonna have to say Duke Johnson, man.
Okay.
I think he's trending down, man. I thought he had a shot to make this team. I don't think he played bad on Saturday. I just don't think he's headed in the right direction. Duke Johnson, trending down, my brother.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with Duke. That was my first player I was trending down to as well, was Duke Johnson. I think we talked about it before. It was going to be a long shot for him to make this team, right? Those running backs, Moss and Cook specifically, would have to look bad. And he would have to look good to make this team. To me, he had a good kick return. I mean, he's Duke. You know what he can do, right? He's been a consummate pro. We know we're going to get. But to me, he looked a little bit slow. He didn't look like he was explosive he used to be. But I think Duke is also a guy that you can put on the practice squad as one of your 4 protected veterans in case something should happen.
Yeah.
So I have to agree trending down. So I'll go trending down next before we get to our 2 trending ups. I thought another player that possibly trended down from this game, I'd say obviously Jamison Crowder. I thought that the drop may have not been his fault. Doesn't matter. They say rule of thumb is if you hit your hand, you're supposed to catch it. This is a guy who obviously trended down a little bit. Isaiah Hodgins has a good game. Khalil Shakur has a good game. Isaiah McKenzie seems entrenched at number 3. Obviously, this was not the right direction to go for this game right here for Jamison Crowder. Who you got?
And trending up?
Trending down. One more trending down, then we'll go 2 trending up.
Oh, okay, we're going 2. Matt Hack.
Yeah. Yeah. Of no fault of his own.
No. The rookie's just beating him out. Right. So I'll have to say he's trending down. For obvious reasons.
Yeah, kid just came out there and just casually just kicked the 82-yard punt, casually. Because that's just what you just find in the street. Someone who can kick the ball 82 yards in the air.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. And I have a point with that too. I know a lot of fans are saying, why do they keep Matt Hack? And what you don't realize is, even though you may not make a team, there's 31 other teams that are out there that are looking. So you still want to have your best showing. Matt Hack knows he's not going to make this team right now. And he's okay with that because Matt Hack is a veteran punter. He was one of the better punters in the league when we signed him last offseason. So he knows that he'll be picked up almost immediately. So I don't think that
low-key value. Somebody may give up a later pick for him.
You never know. Special teams is, you've been saying forever.
I got to cut you off here. Think about this. We got a 7th rounder for Lee Smith.
Yeah.
Matt Hack got some trade value.
we got like a 7th rounder for a lineman one time too. What was that lineman we got? I forgot. We traded him to New England. Marshall Newhouse.
Did we get a 7th round pick?
Yeah.
It was the one. Oh, what was the dude's name? He was a center and a guard. Oh, he was not good.
The one that came from the Bengals.
Yes.
Anybody remember the guy?
Bodine?
Russell Bodine, yeah. So you never know. Stranger things have happened. So those are 2 guys that are trending down. For sure, I agree with you there. So I'll start with the trending up. One of the guys I had trending up is obviously I'd say I'm trying to pick somebody a little different here.
Yes.
I say Matt Barkley trended up. Okay, I'll give Matt Barkley enough. He trended up. I mean, obviously, I still think he's going to be holding the clipboard in the practice squad, and it's going to be the Bills' emergency quarterback for 2022-23 season. But had a great game, brought the team back from coming, kept the 9-game preseason game winning streak. As you know, we know how much you value winning, so that's a big thing. Yeah. Who do you got for one player trending up?
Tim Settle.
Ooh.
Balling.
Yeah.
Balling. I'm going to say it one more time. Balling. Man is balling. Tim Settle is definitely trending up. He's going to play a lot more snaps than what people think.
Yeah, I was thinking about, I was talking to Anthony Furrow about that, and I was mad. I'm like, we only got him a 2-year deal. I wish we gave him a 3-year deal, but after 2 years, he's going to earn a hefty payday, I believe. If you guys, in the chat, you guys play along with us. If you guys want to put players trending up and trending down, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll definitely get up on the screen so we can see your opinions too. Come on. This is interactive. Interact with us. You know how we get down. So another player I thought that trended up is obviously Christian Beneford. Beneford trended up. I think he trended up to a point where you have to give him a roster spot. And even if when Trey White comes back, you can't put him on the practice squad. Once again, this is another guy that's going to get stolen. Okay, very fast. He's a guy that you may, if you don't have any use for him, you may have to put him on the roster and leave him inactive every week just to stash him because you're not going to stash him the normal way. So Christian Beneford, he trended up. And nothing against Kyrie Elam, Christian Benford like the best cornerback in that game.
People fail to realize, man, they keep sleeping on them small school ballers. Some ballers at them 1AA schools, man, them D2 schools. Quit sleeping. Sleep if you want.
Yeah.
He's a baller. He can just play.
Who you got? You got one more trending up?
Absolutely. I got two, actually.
Okay, and I got two. I got one more too, so perfect. That works perfectly. Who you got?
Two. Three trending up. Next one, AJ Epinesa.
Okay. Yeah.
He is playing really well. I like what I see. He's playing with a motor. He's playing with energy. He's playing with like some chip on his shoulder. He want to get after it. You can tell. So he's trending up. I mean, the offensive side is easy. But everyone throw everybody off when I say this. We'll throw him off. He's a lineman. They called him bad.
Oh man, I know who you about to say. You about to lose him now.
You know who I'm talking about, JT?
Yeah.
Who I'm talking about?
You talking about Bobby Hart.
Bobby Hart. He is. He's playing. He got reps with the starters this year. He's playing guard.
Yeah.
From all the reports, he's looking really good at guard. I think Bobby Hart is going to make the 53. He's trending up.
Well, so if I agree with you, because if this Cody Ford thing trade happens, like I think it may happen, then I do believe that you are going to keep Bobby Hart on the active roster. If Cody Ford does not get traded, I think he'll be one of your 4 protected.
Possibly, yes.
So I think they keep Bobby Hart around. But remember last time we tried to protect, didn't the Titans claim him? Someone claimed him one time, didn't they? Or did he just sign with the Titans?
Yeah, and NFL been nice to him. He been around.
Bobby Hart getting a full pension. Okay, so y'all can say what y'all want to say about Bobby. Bobby getting a full pension. He at this point he just add money onto the pension because he passed 7 years.
I see a lot of people saying Bernard.
Bernard looked good. I mean, like I said, you make a play like that in preseason.
I think that one's kind of obvious. That's why I didn't go with that one.
Yeah. No, I agree. I had one more. You know what? One more trending up I had was Jaquan Johnson. Every time we see Jaquan Johnson, he's making some type of play.
Yes.
Every time. He was the same way at Miami, University of Miami. He was the same exact way. And I think that obviously we know Jordan Poyer has not received the contract extension yet. And we haven't heard anything about it. But Jaquan Johnson continues to make plays that way he's doing. The Bills are going to have that conversation of can he be a replacement for Jordan Poyer on this roster come next season. And personally, this is a guy who played a lot of snaps at University of Miami. He was one of their best players. He was a big-time player. He wore that turnover chain a whole lot down there with the Canes. So it would not be surprising to see if he cracks the lineup. He gives me a lot of Denoris Searcy vibes. A third safety who's sitting there who can be a starter. I don't know how good he'll be as a starter on his own, how consistent he'll be. But he's going to get the chance, whether it's here or somewhere else, Denoris Searcy vibes. So that's all I got for trending up. And I know a lot of guys are saying Trey Bernard. Ricky Graves says he's going to keep Cam Lewis. He isn't bad. He'll probably be on the active roster for the first couple of weeks. I still think Trey White's going to be out for the first couple of weeks. So Cam Lewis will probably be on the roster. Sorry to ask you a question. We're going to start getting these going. Balin Spector, Fonzo Edwards says Spector was on the scene of a lot of plays. Yeah, he's very active. You know, that's going to lead to my first question of the night. Our first question of the night. Our guy David Oberstein says, "What's your thoughts on Spector? If we don't pay Edmonds next year, hope we pay the man though." You know what? That's an interesting conversation.
I think it's a very interesting conversation. But I think people are a lot of Bills fans, which has happened in the past. And I'm not saying that the person who just dated is saying this. A lot of people undervalue our own players. A lot of people don't understand how good Edmonds is. Do you realize if Edmonds at the open market, how much money he's going to make? You realize how much somebody's going to pay him $20 million a year. If he hits the open market, he's going to get a lot of freaking money. And, but he's a really, really good football player. Spectre, one preseason game. I'm not really ready to say that just yet. I think Bernard, they're probably looking at him as a more realistic replacement because he flies around. If you have him and Milano, you have a lot of speed on the field. If you're going to replace Edmonds, you got to replace him with somebody that's going to have to run because right now he can run, and our defense is really fast. So Spectre, not saying he's slow, but I think they probably look at Bernard to fill that role. And he played a lot of Mike in the game.
He did play a lot of Mike. So it's going to be interesting. And like I said, obviously, Tremaine Edmonds was not projected as an NFL middle linebacker. So I think you brought it to my attention the other day. We were talking about it. The Bills could go with another project. They're not scared to do that within their defense. So Bernard didn't project as no linebacker either. So they may do it again. But Spectre, I think what Spectre's doing, I think we talked about this pre-show. If he has another strong showing, Spectre has a chance to make this team as the sixth linebacker if they decide to keep six. Now, normally they do keep five, but he may be number six because, like as you said previously, Andre Smith is going to be suspended for the first 4 games. He has the chance to take Andre Smith's job. And if he's on this active roster and he's a contributor to special teams when the season begins for the first 4 games, what are they going to keep Andre Smith for? This guy's younger. He's a lot cheaper. So what are you going to do it for? You're going to keep him on the roster. So I don't know about Edmonds next year. I still think that if the Bills choose not to pay Tremaine Edmonds next year, and I'll say this on record now, there's a couple linebackers that come to mind that could possibly replace him on this roster who are veterans. I think the Jets may get out of that C.J. Mosley contract next year because that'd be the first year they can opt out of it without early any with like $17 million cap savings. That's the name I look for. Devin Bush. Obviously, he's been underwhelming in Pittsburgh, but switching him to this defense may be easier for him. So that's the other name I look out for. So there's definitely a couple of names, and obviously Terrell Bernard, who's on this roster. There's a few names I'll look out there for replacing Tremaine Edmonds if the Bills did not choose to pay him. And I may write an article on it. We'll see what happens. Let's see, more questions here. Ricky Graves asked, what you going to do with Elam opposite of White or practice squad for right now? He won't be practice squad. The only person who could probably beat him out with Trey White out would probably be Beneford at this point in time. And I don't think you're going to do that either because I think, James, you said last week you got to let him play, right?
You gotta let him play. Put him in the game and let him play. It's not like he's getting cooked out there. You know what I'm saying? He's playing well. He's a rookie. I don't know what people expect. I don't know if people expect him to come out and be like Darrelle Revis. I don't know what people really expect. He's a rookie. He's going to take growing pains. You take growing pains with rookies. You just got to let him out there and play. You're going to have growing pains. No way around it. So just let him play. Put him out there and let him play.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, at this point in time, I think it'll be if Trey's not ready to go, which I don't think Trey's going to be ready to go to week 3, and I've been saying that. I think it'll be Elam and Dane Jackson. But then when Trey comes back, that'll be a decision they'll make off of Elam's play. If Elam has kind of been up and down, struggled a little bit, then they may just go with Dane Jackson across. I think a lot of it also depends on what the Bills' record at that point in time is. That first 5 games is a gauntlet. But the second half of the season gets a lot easier, in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's easy schedule because no game in the NFL is easy, but it's not as tough as your first 5. Mike Boger asked, actually, a very interesting question, and I actually want your opinion on this, James, big time. Does Dane Jackson look that good to not play in the game on the preseason? Because if I had to guess going into the game, I thought Dane would have been suited up.
Think about how Dane played last year. Dane did not. He was a number 1 corner. He was our number 1 corner from Thanksgiving game all the way out.
You think so? You think he was over Levi?
At times, yeah.
Okay.
And let's be real here. He was that number 1 corner when we really look at it. I believe he is our number 1 corner. Levi was just he stuck because he filled Trey Edmonds' role. He didn't fill Levi Waller's role and he moved it. He filled Trey Edmonds' role. So that's how I gotta look at it. Trey. He was our number 1 corner.
No, that's interesting. I'm with Mike. I was kind of surprised that he wasn't suited up, but now when you say that, Yeah, I mean, at this point, maybe the Bills were just playing really cautious with injuries because you really can't, at this point in time, afford to lose another D back where you're going to be paying Joe Hayden $4 million to come in here.
Yeah, I think Dane Jackson, every time he's played, he's kind of answered the bell.
Mm.
I mean, what more do you want him to prove? I mean, to be honest with you, why not get those rookies those reps? We know what Dane Jackson can do.
That's what Dave Overseen says too. They know what Dane brings to the table. They need to see the Ricks play. Plus the reps. I think the reps are important. And you know what? One thing I did notice is Kyrie Elam had some really good plays, and then he had some really bad plays as far as keeping his head on the swivel and running through traffic. And I think that I'm glad that he had those things happen to him in the first preseason game because those are things that he can build off of and learn from. So, I mean, other than that, we got time for probably about 2 more questions if you guys got them, and then we're going to get off air. But I just want to remind you guys before, if these questions do come in, if they don't, that's okay. That once again, the Mafia Homecoming Party, the 3rd annual Mafia Homecoming Party, we announced today we will be at Resurgence Brewing at 55 Chicago Street in Buffalo, New York, at 6 p.m. on October 7th. That is week 5, the Friday right before the Pittsburgh Steelers game. Any inquiries about vendors, any inquiries about tickets, anything like that, please reach out to Mafia Homecoming Party at gmail.com. We will be releasing the tickets will be available for sale, and the pricing of tickets will be available next week, Friday, August 26th. So make sure that you guys are getting those early. Last year we sold out. Like I said, we may have to put a cap on it because it gets too crowded. And if you guys have been there, all the Bill super fans in there, they're there in gear, and we always have a special guest. The first year I believe we had Stevie Johnson, Marcus Easley, Donald Jones. I forgot, we had a couple more people that was in the house.
Easley is my new position coach.
Really? That's up down there?
Yep.
I got to hit Ease up then. I didn't even know he was down there.
Yeah, I was talking to Rel about it. Yeah, so I had hit Ease up when I found out. And yep, he is my brother's new position coach, receiver coach.
Okay, I got to hit Ease up. We got to get him on the show too. I've been telling him he need to come on the show, talk about special teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other, and then I think last year for the party we had Aaron Williams. So this year, we work out the details. We almost got the special guests lined up, but we'll let you guys know as time goes on. But stay tuned. If you get tickets, get them early. There'll be different packages, so come on out. Have a good time. The last question tonight will be for Mike Boger. We'll take this one and we'll get ready to get off. Which one of our DNs get traded? We can't keep them all. Ooh, that's a good question. Which one? I mean, at this point, I think we could keep them all, technically. I mean, let me look at the depth chart here. Let me put a depth chart up.
Because Mike Love is going to be out. I think the DN room is pretty set.
Yeah, well, when you look at it, I mean, Rousseau, Basham, Jones, Phillips, Miller, Epinesa, Lawson, Mike Love. I mean, I think you're going to roll out there with 9 each week. And some weeks, I think Shaq Lawson will be your 9th one. And I do believe some weeks he will be inactive and some weeks he won't. He will be active, depending on the team that you're playing. I mean, if you had to ask us pre-camp, preseason, we would have said AJ Epinesa if he struggled. But he's playing well. So I don't think any of them get traded. I think you roll out there with 9 defensive linemen. I think you're going to run out with 1 less defensive tackle this year, though, than what they normally did last year.
I think they're rolling with 4.
Because Boogie Basham is interchangeable.
Exactly.
So I think that's where you're gonna find your 5th defensive tackle tag is gonna be Boogie Basham, switching running at both positions possibly. Well, other than that, I mean, I don't. Because, I mean, really, even when you talk about the contracts, no one's on big money. Epinesa's rookie contract. Bashford's rookie contract. Rosu's rookie contract. Ed Oliver, rookie contract. Still. 5th-year option, but rookie contract. Shaq Lawson's a vet minimum. Jordan Phillips, vet minimum. Tim Settle, probably going to be underpaid. Daquan Jones, I think, is the only one on that depth chart making any type of money. But there, too, we got to think about the contract situation. The Bills have ran the most expensive defensive line in the NFL for, I think, the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So we've always had the most expensive defensive line. So, I mean, really, no one else is really getting paid any chunk of change besides Jones outside of Miller. And that one's only really a 3-year deal. So I think they keep them all. I think the rest of those guys are gonna get released. Some of them will probably go to practice squad, maybe like a Brandon Bryant, something like that. But nah, I got nothing, James. Any final thoughts before we get off there tonight?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how we come out on Saturday. I won't watch it. I'll DVR the game because our Buffalo Vets open up the season.
Good. I made sure I practice Tuesday. I'll be in town Tuesday.
Yeah, come on out. Yeah, we opened up against Lackawanna on Saturday. Games are at 10, 12, 2, and 4.
Okay.
So, hey, you want to watch some good football and watch these young men compete? Come on out and watch us play. We'll be at Lackawanna Field. It's on Electric Street in Lackawanna. It'll be entertaining. So I'm excited for that. So I'll watch the game after our games, come back, eat some chicken wings, and watch the Bills.
I'll check and see what time you guys got practice. And mind you guys, Tuesday, I will be in Buffalo. I'll be kind of helping MC an event, if you want to call it that, but at David Adams in Williamsville, I believe at 6 or 7 p.m. I got to find the right time. Like I said, let me look up the right time for you guys. Bills Dawson Knox, and Devin Singletary will be at David Adams, and I will be there doing fan engagement things, asking you guys questions, getting your opinions on the season as you guys wait in line to get your memorabilia, things of that such. So make sure you guys catch me there if you're in town. I'm not sure how much the price is, but if you guys give me 1 second, I will look that up and get you the proper information because I wasn't prepared tonight. I actually forgot about that. I get on the road so much, man, I just forget that I even have to go on the road. So let's see here. Let's see where we got. Wait, did I miss something? I must have missed something. Okay, so I'm sorry. So Tuesday at 6 p.m. at David Adams, August 23rd. Dawson Knox and Devin Singletary will be there. So I'll be there they're signing about an hour. So I believe the tickets are on davidadamsstoreevent.com. So you can get your tickets there. And it seems like the tickets is, I don't know what the price is. But it's at David Adams. So if you guys want to meet Devin Singletary and Dawson Knox, get over there. I will be there and I'll be asking you questions. So don't be afraid to interview because I like to have fun. Other than that, there's another show in the books. This is nothing personal, just Bills. Hosted by I am your host, JTM, with my co-host, NFL Pedigree, James Mallory. We'll catch Mookie Hawkins probably next week. And actually, I got somebody else that's going to be coming on with us. And it's a she. So stay tuned to see who it's going to be. She's very knowledgeable, though. So, other than that, guys, stay tuned. Thanks for always watching. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.
Thanks, y'all.